Okay, so today is the 19th day of July,
July, yeah.
2025.
Yeah, 54 years ago, you were just a little one.
Yeah, I just got here.
Yeah. You said, okay, I had enough. I'm coming out.
That's for you,
I know.
for when you speak.
Oh, okay. Because you're mic'd up.
Yeah, that's
All right.
recording audio tracks over there. So let's see. Oh, you're fine. We're just playing around here. So Nina's been teaching me about this thing called value engineering
Value engineering?
and tornado graphs. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
Not a tornado graph? I
Yeah,
never heard of
tornado
that.
graph.
Not as that.
So what is that? You ever deal with any tornadoes?
Well, I dodged a few of them in my life in the airplanes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that counts.
but I
think.
was never caught up in one. I've always avoided them as much as possible. I was one with Jim was the captain, and I was the co-pilot, and we were going into Stapleton Field in Colorado, and we were close into Denver. We were moving around the different thunderstorms, so we were kind of out of position. And the controller was having us go around this and do that, and the controller said, do this. And I said, no, that's going to take us right into that tornado, it's the funnel cloud. And I said, we should tell them we're not going. And Jim said, no, we're going. So he followed instruction. We went into that. We survived okay, but it was
Flew through the tornado.
through the funnel cloud, which is,
How dumb can you get?
well, you should be surprised how dumb they can get. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I've had, different things. I spent a lot of time as a co-pilot.
Yeah.
So I could stay senior on the top of the pile, have my first choice of everything. I didn't want to necessarily move up in grade and make a lot more money over the years. I said, I've got everything here. Flying was kind of my avocation. That's kind of what I did to have some money, and the rest of the stuff was. And so I got to do a lot of training to the captains because I had more experience a lot of times in the airplane and in the routes than they did when they were coming just right from being co-pilot to be captain. So, yeah, any more questions that way?
Well, I'm always interested in the metaphors that we use.
Uh-huh.
So funnel is probably a better one, I think, because a tornado graph, I think, is just a bar chart tilted 90 degrees.
Oh, uh-huh.
So the idea is
Weighted.
Mm-hmm.
rank ordered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the funnel shape.
Yeah.
You end up with the most important things are on top.
Mm-hmm.
And you just gave a little example of ranking where you said that you wanted to stay on top, but it didn't have to do with money in relation with the various earning brackets you could have been earning as a.
Yeah, I could have been earning as a captain a lot more money over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But instead, I just stayed as a co-pilot who made less money. But my working conditions were so much better than so many of the captains.
Yeah.
If you're a captain and junior, you're at the bottom and you get the leftovers and you don't get many pickings of what you're going to get to fly.
Yeah.
And if you're number one or two at the top of one of the piles, we had flight engineer, co-pilot, captain, all. And years before, I got to be on the top of the pile as a flight engineer. Wow, what a difference, instead of just being like Christmas, and they tell you, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, this is the nighttime flying, you're going to do all this crap, Oh, yeah, come on out, fly the cargo liner to San Francisco, and load up there, and unload, and then take it to Salt Lake, and then get to, they'll unload and then load you up, and then you go to Denver, and then you lay over during the day in Denver and try to get to sleep so you can come back the next night some other way, you know. To, oh, what are you doing today? Well, I leave late morning, fly 3.5 hours to Chicago, wait an hour there, turn around and come home. I do that. Oh, that's an 8-hour day. 80 hours a month, that's 10 days a month. I had to go to Chicago and back. I was home every night. And I got fed going and I got fed coming back. Oh my God. Or the 6 trips to Hawaii a month, same kind of way. You leave late in the day, get down there in the late afternoon, go out to the beach, go out to dinner, have a nice sleep. Don't get up early because you don't leave till noon the next day. Fly home, get home in the evening. Oh, you got to do that every week? Yeah. Or every 3 or 4 days. 6 times a month. What do you do? Yeah, I had to go to.
That's so good.
I had to spend 6 weeks or 6 days in Hawaii this month. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty rough.
So yeah, life has been really good to me. Holy cow! I couldn't imagine what happened to me. It was just handed to me, and I was, even in my ignorance, I just happened to be lucky enough to choose some of the opportunities that came along.
Well, there's a certain amount of luck. I do think that there's a certain amount of luck or randomness, how things turn over. But you tell me what you think of this. If you get a 50-50 chance every time,
Yeah.
you're going to win at least half of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a little bit conscientious with the winning every time, put it in reserve, then it just keeps, it compounds. You following what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. But at what level are you making the decisions?
Oh, good question.
See, are you just doing it economically? Making decisions economically? Well, I need the money. Well, maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't. Yep.
I kind of like what I'm doing. Or you don't like that job. You don't want that. Should I choose? So you get to choose that way. Or historically, my family, the history is like this, so I should do this. And stuff like that. Or listen to spirit. Well, how can you contact your spirit? What talks to you spiritually that already knows what you should do, that already has it laid out for you?
Yeah.
It's already laid out. Well, you have to use what we call intuition. It already knows. Do you have any contact to intuition in your mind or in your way of looking at life? Because it's so subtle. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Subtle, what do you mean it's subtle?
What is the little bit that says how you're going to answer the question that comes to you? Should I do this or not? See, my aviation with United came from, the friend came down to where I was at the airport playing around I'd been doing that for years, and we talked about different things. His dad had been an airline pilot for he was one of the early ones with United, but he quit United and went with Northwest and was a senior captain, retired. And Jack Cahill is the guy's name. My friend, he stopped by where I was playing in the airport, and he said, "Hey, Northwest is hiring co-pilots. I'm going up there and put in my name. Or you want to go with me?" I said, "Yeah." And so I did. And I put in the paperwork for everything to be a co-pilot with Northwest. And they had, in those days, the personnel person was right in an office at the airport. It wasn't online or any of this stuff they have now. And he read over, saw all our documents and stuff, and he said, "Well, you got all the papers and the documents and the licenses, but I can't hire you." Why not? He says, you're not tall enough. What do you mean? Well, you got to be 5'10" for us to hire you. And me and he and Jack were only 5'9". So we went across the parking lot and did the same thing at United. And United hired me, not him.
I wonder why they didn't hire him.
Maybe it was his teeth.
No, you have no idea, right?
No.
Huh.
Well, if there's a choice between me and anybody else, you could just see outright how superior I was to anybody that I'd be with.
Because he had already been through all of it with Northwest, and he was okay, but not with United in that case.
Yeah, well, it might have been something. They give you a personality test, a little page of personality test, and then all the other things, your medical, and your licenses, all that stuff.
So what do you suppose the basis of the personality test was?
To see whether you were compliant with the rules or not, was mostly. Will you be a team player, or are you an independent guy that just kind of does his thing his way without paying attention to what we want done? And
Do you remember that for sure?
Yeah.
That was the nature of the exam?
well, yeah, in general, that's how United was hiring. They looked to see if you were competent and that you would be compliant with the way they wanted things done. He said, because I talked to another fellow in Denver one time, who was he was in charge of the maintenance there at the base, and he said, yeah, there were times we have to hire these guys. He says, invariably, when we hire somebody that wasn't compliant, he said he'd be the one they're out there in the cold winter trying to change the spark plugs or something, and they say, oh, and they swear, and they'll throw a tool and break something or short circuit something. Instead of hooking the wire that's supposed to be where it is, they'll just find some substitute and do it. He says that's what we found, what happened to those kind of
So I want to go back.
personalities.
I want to interrupt there, and I want to go back to the tornado.
Okay?
So you started by talking about how the instruction was go through the tornado.
Yeah, turn towards the tornado.
So if it was you wouldn't have done that.
No.
Which is non-compliant.
Yeah. Which is, once you're a captain, you don't have to comply with the rules, any of the FAA rules. If in your assessment, the safety of yourself in the airplane is paramount.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about that. I think about possession a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about how you reminded me not too long ago, how about you said it's my airplane.
Yeah.
And we literally say that.
Yeah.
It's like when you got two people flying,
Yeah.
it's the turn of phrase is I have the aircraft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's, if you follow a lot of these things where the co-pilot didn't take over the airplane or the captain didn't take it back from the or the co-pilot flying and they crash, why didn't the person who saw what the problem was take the authority?
So now I want to talk about spiritual possession.
Okay.
So what comes up for you with that term?
Spiritual possession. Well, spirit owns me and everything that's in the cosmos. Pure spirit. And there's only one of us. There's only one spirit.
Okay.
And it consists of all of us.
Okay.
Because, see, from my point of view, when I go to the spirit self, I realize that I'm emanating. I'm the one that's projecting the cosmos. Those trees, all the mitochondria that are in all the bodies and all the world, somehow that capacity originates here in the most primal level of my being, and yours, and hers, and her. If we go there, what comes out of, pre-verbal conversation, where there are no metaphors yet.
Yeah.
There's no words yet. What is there? pure potentiality. And what's that made up of? All possibilities.
Yeah. So the pre-verbal, before there's metaphor. So
Yeah.
that's why I always wonder when people use metaphor, how do you know what you're talking about?
By association. They have to have a similar association for them to understand. If I'm using automobile and they've never seen an automobile, or if I say, what time is it at the North Pole? That's another form of metaphor, right? But the metaphor is all of a sudden mental.
So what is the metaphor? What's the pre-verbal metaphor for captain?
All potentiality.
All potentiality.
Yeah.
So then how is that directed, do you suppose?
Well, you can say boss, authority, responsibility, and even as far as outcome. You can call it outcome even. That's how it turned out, because of decision. So where does decision come from? History, or does it come from pre-verbal?
Yeah.
See, now, what kind of, I puzzle over what's there in a pre-verbal existence. Is it space? Where does space come from? What's holding space? And if I take the way that Charles Ledbetter says, when you go there, it ends up as a place of infinite density. He calls it Koilon, K-O-I-L-O-N. I think I mentioned it before.
Yeah, I've looked at that.
And in order to make some space, you have to push back something of infinite density and make a hole in it.
Which sounds non-compliant to me.
Yeah, it is. But look what it answers to. It answers to all the black forces and the black energies and wow, you had to take infinite energy and push it aside and let some of it dribble into the cosmos to run all your structures that we see in the sky. Where you see a galaxy here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But we see the comings and goings of the black hole in supernova, black hole, going in, coming out. So there's some realm that is invisible to us, because the black hole sucks up the light that it needs to come out for you to see it. So it doesn't respond to the electromagnetic nerves that we have. Never see it, because the stimulus isn't there.
Yeah. Yeah, for this body, this human,
Yeah.
it's not equipped.
No, it's not. None of our senses will take you there.
Yeah. So we were playing with a metaphor earlier. I don't know if I can knit these two together, but there's something about the scaling of metaphor.
Uh-huh.
So you were just talking and pointing as if you were seeing galaxies, and you don't. Like, the body doesn't. The body sees representations of some imaging that's being done by something outside of the body.
Yeah, and it's very simple. Look into this mirror and tell me how you're seeing yourself.
Yeah, that's a beautiful example. So then we were playing around with the metaphor of mycelium.
Mycelium, yeah.
Mycelium. Like, you don't see it,
No. Until you lift up some sod or something.
but you see all of the stuff poking up
Yeah.
and supported by it.
Right.
all the trees and yeah.
Well, and all the little cells of your body you don't see. And those cells, when you look at them, they're made up of millions and millions of pieces of something else. The atoms, the molecules, the subatomic particles.
Do you feel those?
Well, you feel it by the knowing again.
Okay, so that's subtle. That's pretty subtle.
Yeah, that is real subtle. You know, to use your mind to know is a long way down a swimming hole, you know.
That's for sure. You got a mix of metaphors there. You got a swimming hole, and is that Carol's hole? The Lewis?
Yeah,
Is that,
yeah.
we kind of get into that space of nonsense.
Yeah. Alice in Wonderland is quite a story of our life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is this crazy stuff that happens? Yeah. But it's not so crazy if that's what you're used to. It's fundamentally understandable. Oh. But it takes a while to get there.
Swimmable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that metaphor of swimming. I've been playing with that one a lot too, where there isn't any place to stand.
That's right.
You're swimming.
And, see, three-dimensionally is a place where everybody lives, but usually they don't think that way. Your charts are linear on flat paper,
Yeah.
and you can make a 3D graph by using angles, or you can build a model, 3D model.
Well, you can build a model in mind too.
Uh-huh.
That's really that's something that I've really just taken for granted. Is the realization that
The inventive mind can see the picture,
it's
can see the result of it's not there yet. This is how it's going to be.
yeah, that part of that mind can see what isn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there was a whole mountain missing earlier today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through the fog, what can you see through the fog? The stuff is there, but you don't know about it.
Yeah. And the other things underground,
Mm-hmm.
the things inside walls.
And inside our body, inside the cell wall. And that stuff is fairly biologically new to science the last 100 years or so, you know. Maybe early as late 1700s they started to know about these little bugs. Now, how can that disease being caused by little bugs? I can't see them.
Can't be real.
You can't see them, yeah. What are you talking about? No, it's the blood. It's got bad stuff in it. You got to cut the skin open and let some of that bad blood out.
Yeah.
Drain that stuff out of there. Yeah, that'll work. Or you put the leeches on, that'll work, won't it? Or you go to the guru, the Indian guru, or the spiritualist, he just says, you just realize that it doesn't exist. You don't invite it in as a thought. It can't be there.
Yeah.
Because my understanding is that doesn't exist. How strong can that be?
Good question.
Yeah. How strong can your belief be? Because if it's not invited, why would it come there? So what's inviting it? Well, I already knew another guy that was, and like the guru said, why do people get old? Because they saw other people get old. So I'll get old. Why buy into that? So, yeah, it's so fun, I think, to do this sort of thing, to touch on these things that aren't ordinarily plausible,
It's super fun.
you know?
So in terms of rank ordering values, for me, the identification of the candidate or the other person the identification of the people who are right there at the edge of that awakening.
Uh-huh.
It feels to me that the greatest value that I can realize is to be the space, so to speak,
Uh-huh.
that affords that step. So I really enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I know that that's when I feel like I'm on purpose,
Uh-huh.
is when I'm with a person who's right on that edge of realizing or coming to be aware of that part that they cannot know, except maybe through whatever it is that we're talking about when we say mind. That
Yeah, so in the human species, I see that in the 2 and the 3-year-old.
yeah,
So you go there, they don't have any, well, they do in the past, but at the moment, they don't have all that experience and memories that told me the stove was hot. And you can, well, I used to do it with you kids, you know, with, you just give them a little nudge of an idea and see where they go with it,
Yeah.
and see what comes out of them. And a lot of times it's unexpected
yeah,
because they're getting the information from somewhere else that isn't history.
yeah,
Yeah. You know, to watch you kids grow up like that was great. Especially here where we had a lot of nature to play with.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's that? How's it doing that? Mhm. Needles on plants and things. Yeah.
Okay.
And we let you have your own way. You know, you could fall off the cliff if you wanted to, but you didn't ever fall off. You'd go play on it, but you had to develop your own. You didn't have the fear of it because it wasn't introduced to you.
Yeah, yeah. You get a little bit of experience falling down when the stakes are low,
Uh-huh.
and there's I guess a healthy fear, a healthy sense
Yeah,
of fear
you learn.
develops.
You learn, we can't do that anymore. And that could be worse.
You know where, you find the edges, you find the natural edges, and then extrapolate from there.
Extrapolate. The straps like seat belts. Why does everybody have seat belts in their car? Somebody said, well, stop a lot of injuries. Well, isn't there a better way? Just don't collide.
That would be better.
Yeah, the thing is, we got cars that you can't collide. Cars won't smash into each other. What do you mean you can bump cars together? No, not in this civilization. You know, if you had that thought as a thought form out there, working on the streets and the highways, the freeways, it's impossible to have an accident, you know. You can never crash a car. They don't crash. So again, that takes you into the field of thought form. How strong is the thought form acting upon the environment?
I think we better wrap it up for today.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
because, you know, just like all this drug stuff they have, all the problems. Well, if nobody takes drugs, there is no problem. Well, how come they're doing it? Well, some foolishness in a person's mind is, I'm not complete at this time, so, and you're familiar with the addiction aspects of what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do I really need it? No, but it takes a lot to get out from under it. And it takes reminders. Why? So I was just lucky all my life. I never seemed to be able to have that addiction to tobacco or alcohol anyway. But I smoked until I was 14.
From age 3?
Well, yeah, well, that's what the parents were doing. Well, at least my dad smoked, and my uncle smoked, and my cousins smoked, and practically everybody in the neighborhood smoked.
You said your mom didn't. Your mom didn't.
Mom didn't smoke. So I kept trying. Cigarettes, awful. Burn my eyes. Tastes awful. Well, and people seem to enjoy cigars. You know, they weren't any good. Well, I could smoke a cigar partly as long as I ate a roll of Lifesavers at the same time. And that got to be a nuisance. And well, pipe smoking, the pipe tobacco smelled pretty good in the store. And that wasn't any better, you know. And so at 14, I finally decided, I don't like to smoke. Why bother?
Okay.
And it was fun. The high school kids, you know, they'd offer me a cigarette and stuff, and I'd take it. And then I'd just crumble it up and throw it away. And they got all upset about that. And I said, well, what difference does it make if I burn it up and throw the stuff away? Than just tearing it up before I smoke it.
You didn't see that?
Never thought of that, they'd say, you know.